Hello students, in this lecture we will study selection criteria for control valve and also selection criteria for single and double acting cylinder. So we'll start. So first, selection criteria of a control valve. So these control valve are used to control the pressure of air or when it is used in hydraulics, it will control the pressure of fluid. Okay, so it is also called as a pressure relief valve. So in the third and fourth chapter we have studied different control valves, pressure relief valves. Okay, so while selecting this control valve, following parameters to be considered, or we have to consider following parameters. So first is a maximum operating pressure. So this parameter we have to consider, that is a maximum operating pressure of air or fluid. Then maximum flow rate, that is how much air or fluid is passing through that pipe, or we can say okay. So next is the operating temperature range, then rate of cycling, then response time, then air oblique fluid quality, that is either air is a mixture of dust particles or other, or fluid quality. Okay, air or fluid quality, that is a fluid may be we can say liquid fluid, that is the quality of that fluid. Then mounting method, leakages, maintenance. So leakage parameter, that is we have to consider, and also maintenance parameter we have to consider while selecting the control valve. Then another parameters are types of fluid to be controlled. Okay, types of fluid to be controlled, temperature, viscosity, then specific gravity of fluid, that is these parameters of the fluid we have to consider. Then flow capacity, then inlet and outlet pressure, minimum and maximum, either it is a minimum or maximum inlet outlet pressure, pressure drop at normal and shut off condition. Okay, then degree of flashing if possible, desired action against failure, fail to open, fail to close. Okay, so these parameters we have to also consider. Then wall size, uh, the next parameter is a wall body, that is the angle, double port, butterfly, etc. Then next parameter, wall plug guiding, that is cage, port guiding, etc. Then port size, full or partial restriction. Then wall trim material, actuator size required, bonnet style, that is either it is plain, extension, bonnet required. Then steam travel versus flow characteristics. Then range ability, ability to cope with high pressure. This is the important parameter, that is ability to cope with high pressure. कितना ability है control valve का when there is a high pressure. Then wall sizing, wall must operate between 40% to 70% of full operating range. Okay, so these parameters we have to consider while selecting the control valve. Then next is a single acting and double acting cylinder. So while selecting single acting and double acting cylinder, we have to consider different parameters. So we will take in short operation of single acting cylinder. So this is a single acting cylinder, as name is a single acting. Here is a one port only as shown in this diagram, and this piston rod moves along this direction, and spring is used as shown in this diagram. So single acting cylinder uses the force given by air to move in one direction. Okay, usually out, and once and a spring to return to the home piston. Okay, so again return to the home by using a spring. So in this single acting cylinder, this is a detailed constructional diagram. This cylinder produce work in one direction of a motion, hence they are named as a single acting cylinder. Okay, figure shows the construction of single acting cylinder. The compressed air pushes the piston located in the cylindrical barrel, causing the desired motion. that is compressed air pushes this piston located in the cylindrical barrel, causing a desired motion. The return stroke takes place by action of a spring. Return stroke, that is this piston return goes to the return or goes to the home position by using a spring, and this spring is generally is provided on the rod side of the cylinder. So this is a spring. So this is a piston, this is a spring, U-cap seal, cylinder body as shown in this diagram, O-ring, end cover, um, then bush, then piston rod as shown in this diagram. So operation diagram of a double acting cylinder is as shown in this diagram. So there are two ports of this double acting cylinder as shown in this diagram. That is a inlet port and this is a outlet port. So in the previous diagram, in single acting cylinder only one port is there, but in double acting there are inlet and outlet ports are there. This is a animated pneumatic cylinder or CAD operated, we can say. Animated means computer aided operated this pneumatic cylinder. This piston rod moves in this direction and comes to the home position as shown in this diagram. So in this double acting cylinder, it uses the force of air to move in both extended and retract strokes. They have two ports to allow air in one of outstroke and one for in stroke. So this is a constructional diagram of a double acting cylinder. The main parts of the hydraulic double acting cylinder are piston rod, cylinder tube and end caps. So this is a piston, rod seal, piston seal, end seal, then wiper seal, then bearing cap, weld and seal as shown in this diagram, and this is a base cap. Okay, the piston rod is connected to piston head and the other end extends out of cylinder. The piston divides the cylinder into two chambers, namely the rod end side and piston end side. The seal prevents the leakage of oil between these two chambers. The cylindrical tube is fitted with end caps. Okay, so this is a constructional diagram of a double acting cylinder. So in this double acting cylinder, the pressurized oil or air enters the cylinder chamber through the ports provided. The rod end cover plate, a wiper seal is provided to prevent the leakage of oil and entry of the contaminants into the cylinder. So this wiper seal observe करो, wiper seal, this wiper seal is used to prevent the leakage of oil. Okay, this wiper seal, the combination of wiper seal, bearing and sealing ring is called as a cartridge assembly. So combination of this wiper seal, bearing, this bearing and sealing ring. Okay, sealing ring is there, this end seal. Okay, so this combination is called as a cartridge assembly. Okay, the end caps may be attached to the tube by threaded connection, welded connection or tie rod connection. The piston seal prevents metal to metal contact and wear of piston head and tube. These seals are replicable or replaceable. End cushioning is also provided to prevent the impact with end caps. Okay, so these seals are replaceable and also end cushioning. So observe here, cushioning is also provided for to prevent the impact with end caps. Okay, so this is a detailed diagram of this double acting cylinder constructional diagram. Okay, wiper seal, bearing and all this assembly is called as a cartridge assembly. Okay, and as shown in this, provide these seals avoids the leakages. Okay, So comparison between single acting and double acting cylinder. So in single acting cylinder it has a one port. In double acting it has a two ports. It has a spring, it has a no spring. In double acting cylinder it exerts force in one direction only. It exerts force in two direction, that is forward and backward, as we have explained previously. It uses compressed air in the forward stroke while return stroke is achieved by the spring. It uses compressed air in both strokes, forward and backward. So this is a difference between single acting and double acting cylinder. So in exam explain single acting and double acting cylinder with neat diagram, and also give difference between them, and express selection criteria for single acting and double acting cylinder. So we are now mentioning the selection criteria for single acting and double acting cylinder. So how to select this single acting and double acting cylinder. So following factors to be considered by selecting the single acting or double acting cylinders. So first is a criteria is either single or double acting. Okay, कौन सा आपको select करना है. Then dimensional standards like ISO, VDMA, set top, FNR. Okay, then constructional details like piston rod, tie rod, square tube, rodless, etc. Then fourth parameter, force to be exerted. Okay, how much force to be exerted. Then distance to move in one stroke, how much distance to be moved. Then surrounding medium, that is a special material of a construction or type of seals, as we have in double acting cylinder we have mentioned different types of seal to avoid the leakages. Then working pressure available, how much pressure, working pressure is available. Then cushion or non-cushion. Okay, then ambient temperature for selection of seal material. So this is also important parameter. So ambient temperature for selection of seal material, that is a this parameter is very important, that is a sealing material is used, and for that we have to consider temperature parameter. Then speed of activation, then position detection, reed switch type, and then next is a mountings, and last parameter stop tube length for long stroke cylinders. So these are the important parameters while selecting the single acting or double acting cylinders. So in this lecture we have covered up selection criteria for control valves. So number of parameters we have considered for selecting the control valve. Okay, and next we have taken overall single acting cylinder and double acting cylinder, and comparison between them, and next selection criteria for single acting and double acting cylinder. Okay, thanks.